The Splice poetry series, as you probably know. Probably here for it, I imagine. What's up? Come on, Andrew. Howdy. Thank you all for coming so much. Always a pleasure. Great show tonight. One of our best. I'm already calling it now. And so I got a little intro to the intro. Quote, "I can gather all the news I need on the weather report." Warbles, Paul Simon, in the 1970 hit, The Only Living Boy in New York. There's definitely some metaphor at play here, because there's lots of boys and other kinds of people, Paul, who live in New York. Joey Yearous-Algozin and Holly Melgard among them. But they have sojourned here to not only bring us this unseasonably warm weather in our increasingly unseasoned climate, but of the larger weather patterns that comprise and influence the cultural climate in its fumes of zeitgeist. And yeah, a lot has changed since 1970, including the implication of such insouciance in such a lyric as Paul Simon's quoted above. More recent weather reports include headlines like "Why the New York City Floods Should Be a Wake-Up Call," or "2023, the hottest year on record," or "Winter Among War, the freezing struggle of Gaza's displaced." Okay, you get it. You're depressed. I'm depressed, stressed out, shit. But what if I told you these two meteorologists have adapted their long-term forecasts to make you giggle at the void, chuckle at the truth of our soul-crushingly pathetic insignificance as a species, slap your knee at some casual harassment, make you wet your pants in fear and laughter at the same time? What do you say about that? Well, here to break the story is Sean Monroe, folks. Thank you.
Hello again. Welcome to the end of season 2 Splice.
Oh, right, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
2 years, 2 whole years,
Right.
2 whole years.
2 whole years, that's it. Wow.
Joey Yearous-Algozin is a poet, publisher, and teacher living in Brooklyn. Some of his books include The Lazarus Project, that claims to resurrect approximately 20,000 people and rips at the logic of innate desires that form our social behaviors. Utopia, another book of his, rewrites the first of the 7 Saw movies in the second person, leaving behind only a single character chained to a pipe in a room. And Air the Trees, which is a digital work published by Gauss PDF, which aestheticizes Microsoft Word's presentation of Larry Eigner's Air the Trees, originally published in 1968. With Holly Melgard, who will also perform this evening, he co-authored a trilogy of text, Holly Melgard's Friends and Family, White Trash, which is a wild ride, you should check it out, and Liquidation, which is another wild-ass ride. He is a founding member of the publishing collective Troll Thread, where almost all the above works can be downloaded and read for free or purchased and printed on demand. Joey's work in poetry, poetics, and poems tramples the conceptual boundaries of traditional and experimental poetic forms, slicing into the intersections of language, technology, and human experience. His poetic output commands readers to reconsider the elements of poetry, their malleability, and the impact of digital culture on our understanding of communication and art. His most recent book, A Feeling Called Heaven, published by Nightboat in 2021, who's going to read from tonight, is a bit different in that it engages a more non-conceptual approach to poetry, if there is such a thing. Some may find these meditations misanthropic, sardonic, or blissful, which is our work to do. Nonetheless, these poems construct sensory landscapes that oscillate between the tangible and the intangible, the known and the enigmatic, the limits and the limiters known through our relationship to not just language, but poetry as cultural experience. Tune in as Joey pilots us through this abyss. Please welcome to the Splice stage, Joey Yearous-Algozin.
Can everyone hear me? Is this good?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna just read from this book, A Feeling Called Heaven, which I was gonna say it's appropriate for the weather we had. Then I realized I don't know what y'all's weather is normally like. Is it normally this warm in December?
No.
No? Perfect. All right. So we're fucked. All right. So it's just one. It's made up of 2 poems, and I'm just going to read the really long poem that takes about 30 minutes. So, you know, you want to do it?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, great. Let's do it. Okay. So this is called For the Second to Last Time. Oh, and so in Gilles Deleuze, in his interviews with Claire Parnay that he did right before he died, they went like out letter by letter, and he talked about an individual, like A was for animal, and B was for drinking, because it's in French. And that's, drinking starts with a B in French, I think. See? You fucking poets. So smart. Girls are fucking smart. It's amazing. Okay. But so he said that the alcoholic is never fixing the last drink, that they're always fixing the second to last drink. And so, thinking about us, kind of collectively, I wanted to write this poem for the second to last time. I wanted to show you something that would give you pleasure before the end of the world. I thought I'd play you a video of antelope or deer moving as a herd across an expanse of green grass, shot from the door of a helicopter, flying in unison with the animals below, as the repurposed foundation for the death of this planet in X number of years. For there's nothing to be done now but love and embrace the silence of our impending destruction as a species, one that was offered the gift of consciousness through accident or divine fiat, and has done little with it, but slightly lessened the suffering of a few, i.e. the bar was so low and desire so brutal. There's nothing to be done now but to await our own destruction in the presence of each other. This patience, then, is really all that's necessary. And not saying how the world could be better, it can't be better. A better world isn't possible, but patience is possible. Meditation on a few moments of intense deprivation, on all that's left. This impoverishment we've been given, ecstatic reduction, or a feeling called heaven, that speaks to itself of nothing but a final annihilation that arrives quietly, though it remains perhaps forever in the distance. I wanted to show you something that would remind you of a time in your life before we came together, as a way of finding some trace of pleasure or happiness in the presence of each other. This is not a rejection of the world, but a radical acceptance of our own impoverishment that allows us to welcome passivity as a way of reducing both the mind and body to the minimal frequency necessary to maintain this place we now occupy together as we wait for the true end of the world, which is already here, and yet has only just begun. An end that began without us, but because of us, and now no longer needs us, as it makes its way slowly through each and every one of us in each and every successive generation. I want you to allow this feeling called heaven, which is little more than a recognition of our presence here, together, an acknowledgement that we're not outside the world, and yet nothing's demanded of us, to create a modicum of calm and stability, sitting here in the company of each other, because the world is dying, at least for us. We've made it an inhospitable place for us, and yet there's pleasure to be found in the beginning of the end of the world. And as you sit listening to my voice speaking to you, I want you to remember that this is only the beginning of the end. And so we're embarking on this journey together, or more accurately, we're engaged in a process of reduction that erases any distinction between you and anyone else, so that you become just one body among many, a material object severed from its utility, merely occupying this space for a time. In this way, we come to regard this wretched thing we call our body, this vessel or vehicle, as little more than a seat of pain and frustration, yet one we hold so dear, as it shrinks in terror at night, as the room in which you're lying down or sitting up, listening to the sound of my voice, settles around you, with a noise disconnected from any discernible source, which for that brief moment makes you all too aware of your own fragility, or at other times, as it swells with anxiety, something you feel welling within you, say on the train, when the arm of a stranger sitting next to you reflexes against your side, gently pressing into your ribs, as you resist the urge to turn your face and look at this person sitting next to you, to acknowledge this physical closeness and inadvertent touch that wants nothing from you but needs a place to rest, a place at the beginning of the end that we cannot see, but rest assured for this moment together in the calmness of its late arrival. And in this way, you can think of my words, what I have to say to you, as constructing something like a side altar, a place for us to watch for those who will eventually come and replace us, only to keep this watch in our place. For we're little more than surrogates, who've come to regard this vessel, vehicle, this wretched thing we call our body as something like a coat or sweater, placed gently on the chair beside you in a darkened movie theater, holding this place beside you for a friend who's on their way to meet you but has been delayed and whose absence gives you a reason to keep sitting where you are. And as such, you come to occupy this space between what came before and an end that has already arrived. Visualized in this way, we can understand this beginning as it occurs in the distance, far from us, as something like a boundary, or more accurately, a wall to gently lean against, as we sit together here in each other's company. I ask that you focus not on your individual thoughts, but on the structure of your mind, as the channel that these thoughts travel through, as the unconscious communicates with the conscious mind, giving meaning to all your interactions with the world, your beliefs and habits, your feelings and emotions. Each individual sensation is simply a message or information traveling through the very material by which you've come to understand, say, the trauma you underwent in being born, expelled from your mother's body, gradually assuming the separate and isolated character, this faint noise in the background of your mind. And as you close your eyes and listen to the sound of my voice, as my voice and your own thoughts become one and move together from the foreground to the background, fading into a dull hum of atmospheric static, not unlike the hum of the air conditioner that keeps the room you're sitting in at a comfortable 70 degrees. Allow your attention to wander away from my voice and listen to these ambient sounds that vie for your attention daily. These parallel tracks coming together in the mind to create the hushed sound of traffic in the street below. Or your upstairs neighbor moving a chair against the hardwood floor of their living room. And as you listen to the layers of sound, I want you to remember that this hum is just the sound of our collective death, which we patiently embrace even if unconsciously, accepting this knowledge that emerges as the foundation of our lives together. That not only will we perish individually, but that our time as a species is drawing to a close. And while this remains unthinkable, there are moments here together where we can envision the quiet that would exist without us as the clouds break and the sun glints off pools of irradiated water outside a freeway on-ramp or hospital parking lot, in which a few discarded syringes and fragments of plastic tubing bob in the light breeze, traveling across a world emptied of our presence. And I want you to hold in your mind this image of a future continuing without us, arising from a communal hope that once we've disappeared, this world will reach a quiet equilibrium, the weather again becoming pleasant, the wind no longer carrying the scent of rotting garbage or chemicals burning in the chimney of an anonymous factory, the sweet smell bringing solidity as if the seemingly endless supply of gummy plastic burning somewhere beyond the factory walls had reconstituted in your lungs, such that now you carry it with you, at least in this minor way. And as the plastic adheres to the cells of the walls of your lungs, it keeps you company as you walk the streets, making your way to work or to dinner after. It's not so much hope as intuition, something that you know directly without needing to analyze it. It bridges the gap between the unconscious and the conscious parts of your mind. A non-verbal certainty that a time will come when the residue of the human will have disappeared almost entirely, such that what is left of the world will come to regard our time here as a temporary illness or weak parasite, that wasn't designed to kill as much as seek out its own end in the host's body. I want you to hold this image in your mind. A future that continues without us is already on its way, having begun in the far distance. Not as silence, but as a faint, nearly imperceptible noise that emerges first as silence, then drowns out all other noises, a smothering nothingness that expands to take over the horizon beyond which you cannot see, as it dips below your visual plane. As you sit here, listening to my voice, as we sit in the company of each other, and my voice and your thoughts become one, you begin to regard these words, what I have to say to you now, as amounting to nothing more than clearing a place for us to rest, as we wait together for the end of the world. For there's nothing to be done now, besides wait, building these little monuments to ourselves along the way, say a side altar to a forgotten saint that no longer serves as a site of worship. It just gives you a moment to rest and kneel along its wood railing, light a candle or two out of something like duty or habit, just something to do with your hands, briefly before continuing on our way. But we know that there's nowhere left for us to go, that we've already arrived where we were headed, this peripheral and inconsequential space that we've found together. What we're building is simply a place of rest as we wait for the true end of ourselves. And so, instead of grief, what we find is pleasure. Instead of sadness, there's this feeling called heaven that touches, however faintly, unhappiness. One could say we're so happy because our time here together is short, and we've prepared our own annihilation. Now, all that's necessary is patience. All that's required of us is to patiently wait for an end we may never witness, except as the ripples of its effects, briefly visible at the edges of our time together, as though this feeling called heaven were something like the waves of the ocean, gently lapping against the wet sand as the tide slowly rises to meet, say, a blanket spread out in the weak morning light, on which you're now calmly sitting as you watch the day pass before you, your eyes unfocused among the gray waves, as they crash near what seems like the edge of the ocean, and envisioning this kind of tranquility projected out to a great distance that only annihilation could promise, a pleasure almost too pure to experience, the final enunciation of the human in the world, spoken in a single voice in the moments leading up to the moment before the last, in which some distant generation lays down together one last time. And as you sit listening to my voice, I want you to think of this time to come as a promise. Once our species' short timeline has reached its end, what is left will rebuild itself, our existence a scar written across the surface, which in time will fade, as when your own vessel or vehicle records an error in physical movement as it brushes against the unyielding world beyond it, forming an area of fibrous tissue that replaces your once soft and supple skin, say, as you wash dishes for a friend and their partner, who are kind enough to let you stay with them, out of obligation, no matter how pleasant, that preserves the bond built before your visit, that now only needs this occasional maintenance in the form of physical proximity. And so while they're out together buying food for dinner, you want to do something nice for them, show them something you learned as a child, that these minor gestures are what constitute a family. And you want them to know, even unconsciously, that you think of them as family. But when you place your hand in an empty jar, the pressure from the rag and warm, soapy water causes it to break. And as the shards drop from your hand to the sink, one cuts across the knuckle of your thumb or pointer finger. So your blood mixes with the pool of water waiting to go down the drain and out into the sewer, combining together and flowing beneath you, creating something like an abstract map of your own movement across the Earth's surface. You come to regard these errors as a catalog of half-recalled embarrassments that you hold on to in quiet moments like these, because they reaffirm something you knew all along, but could never quite say. Something about the body's poverty, for example, or its lack of grace. Finally, for now, devoid of physical pain, that you can only bear witness to in the vacancy of your own imagination, the approach of this future world, emptied of our presence, is slow enough it could be easily confused with stillness. It's no longer a question of force, but of patience, for this end that seems always to be on its way, but never any closer, such that this feeling called heaven, discovered in the distant annihilation, might have seemed to remain forever on the horizon, if it weren't precisely that in this feeling, we're able to recognize attenuated pleasure in the immediacy of each other's presence. As you sit here, listening to my voice, I want you to remember that there's a pleasure, a small pleasure, but a pleasure nonetheless, born of the desire to cultivate awareness of how little time is left, counting these minutes or hours together, and in so doing, feeling time become corporeal as we experience it in the company of each other. 1 minute, followed by another, understanding each as the second to the last, never more than we can handle, not yet. This feeling called heaven, or rather the acknowledgement that annihilation offers a kind of pleasure only recognizable once finished or complete, and therefore dissipates once it becomes the center of whatever little attention it can garner. A pleasure that dissipates not unlike fog that dissolves as you wake in the morning, leaving a faint trace of condensation visible off in the distance. It obscures your view as you make your way to your car, or the subway, or the bus, or whatever temporary and enclosed environment carries you passively to the job, as you struggle to continue the difficult process of waking up again. This feeling called heaven is a pleasure, only witnessed in the past tense and from a distance. This sense of annihilation or future death occurring now, a collective sense of something having already happened, far off, while you are paying attention to something else. Say, as you stand in the produce aisle of a grocery store, holding a sleeve of celery still wet from the overhead mister, and hear yourself, unthinkingly, singing along to whatever song is playing over the store's PA, something vaguely recalled, but which for the brief moment of its singing takes away the pain of a loved one or family member's passing, which you thought to have stained even this chore. And as you stop, the words no longer leave your lips, your mouth closes of its own accord, shamed for finding refuge in something as seemingly so inconsequential as a pop song, generic enough to find its way into the background of your attention. You return to a conscious awareness of your surroundings, the tiled floor beneath you, and the fluorescent lights above. And as the environment returns, so too does the pain of their passing, the absence they created in your life. And as your attention returns, it brings with it an awareness of your own grief and its absence in that moment. A compacted nothingness that seems to repeat itself out and beyond this doubling, which increases in minute degrees of intensity, such that it pushes this pleasure you barely knew you were in the process of experiencing further beyond your cognitive grasp, until it's gone. I wanted to show you something as an excuse to stay in your presence, or to put it as precisely as I can, to keep you here, in my presence, or each in the presence of each other a little longer. With annihilation certain, it is only a question of love, and this kind of minimal pleasure. I wanted to say something plainly so that you would understand. I wanted to say something directly to address you as though I was holding your hand or looking into your eyes and saying something. That it feels like I'm lying here next to you, my mouth close to your ear, whispering something that you felt but hadn't thought to say out loud, because you didn't need to. Because it's something you've understood before our time together. Something you've known without needing to put to words. That it's not despite the destruction of the world that you're worthy of love, but because of it. Because you've helped to usher it in through these minor acts of annihilation and participation in this collective end, through what amounts to nothing other than participation in your own life. This material expenditure, which is often so mindless, say as you move through the aisles of a convenience store, picking up a granola bar or a bottle of water, keeping your headphones in to block out the noise of the store beyond as you swipe your credit card at the self-service kiosk before exiting through the automatic doors. It's precisely that you can't help yourself. It's this inability to stop that makes our own wordless sense of annihilation, in which we've come to understand this feeling called heaven as the most human thing we know, and therefore the most deserving of love. Yes, it's precisely in these moments, when you're at your most alone and isolated, lost in the slow expenditure of the minimal energy necessary to take part in your own life. It's when you move across the surface of a city, gliding from one job to the next, that you're most human, and therefore the most lovable, or deserving of love. I mean, perhaps the real problem is that extinction is taking too long. Perhaps the real problem is not that our extinction is unfurling before us, but that it's doing so slowly that it almost seems to disappear. So that the pleasure to be found in our own annihilation, this feeling called heaven, only recognizable in retrospect once it's disappeared, replaced not by a memory of pleasure, but the realization of having missed the chance to make it a memory. Or to put it another way, is the sensation of having felt this particular pleasure after having felt it, unaware, whose remainder subsides, or reverberating an aching lack that once it disappears, only exists as something that has gone, but gone without your ability to feel it go. It's this slow dissolve we miss, establishing itself as the condition upon which our world is built, as our backs were turned, to become this space at the end of the human that we now occupy together. We might have called it something different, like compulsion. We're compelled to tell each other stories in the same way we're compelled to destroy the world. This end that unfurls out before us is just a story, poorly remembered and poorly told, cast into some inaccessible future, such that all we have to say to each other are these impoverished, half-forgotten stories. But it's the pleasure of telling them to one another, recounting and improvising their little lies and exaggerations that in each other's company make up a structure. A brief excursion on how nothing ends except this ending, which too in time will meet its own dissolution. Or to believe not in a future, but rather that the end is happening now, and yet we're only at its beginning. I wanted to begin by saying something directly to you. Something like, this is the end. Have you say it back. So that in saying this to each other, we could feel somewhere in the back of our minds, below our conscious attention, and beyond the simple act of repetition, something else opening unto itself. Say the fact that one day we'll look on days like these fondly, with an almost imperceptible jealousy that we ever had it so good, as though to say there was a time that we'd touch each other when we didn't hurt. Those who will come after us might even call us fortunate to have been here, in this place together, in each other's company, when the end had only just begun, when nothing had really changed yet. So that when we say something like, this is the end, and embrace each other, I want you to remember that what we're really saying is that this is the beginning of the end. And as we speak softly to ourselves, in little more than a whisper, wanting to be overheard, loved for the quietness of the small part we take in this collective murmur, loved as a small animal at the end of a stranger's leash is loved, we recognize an absence of hope, as if hope were general, or a standard against which to measure whatever image we might have of the future. Perhaps before we came together, you believed in the continuance of this life, not of any one of us individually, but the undeniable fact of our survival as a species. You knew intellectually we all die, some sooner than others, but death's guarantee makes this thought abstract. Its concreteness absents any real sadness. Instead, I want you to focus your mind on denouncing this hope, embedded in the idea of our momentum as a species. The belief that we will somehow continue even after we've gone, or that somehow someone will be there to tell a story about us, to read out the names inscribed on our graves, even if only to themselves. We've come to understand that what we are now is devoid of a future, that there's no future for us as a species, after a threshold we can't see past, an invisible partition that allows us to continue as we are, making families, going to work, participating in minor gestures of affection or distrust, cataloging the grievances or joys that come with living amongst each other. It's not so much that we're doomed, but rather that we continuously acknowledge that we've arranged this for ourselves, and more importantly, we have made this arrangement together. In a sense, it's the one time we've acted harmoniously. After killing however many countless others throughout our time here, we finally turned to ourselves, not with enthusiasm, but appropriate indifference. In organizing the world around this feeling called heaven, we've come to realize that we've arranged the world such that we can't live on it forever. And in doing so, we've made ourselves temporary. But there's a freedom in knowing we'll be able to walk away from the responsibility of living here, a freedom from the pain of being alive, granted to someone we'll never meet, the beginning of a time without pain, a collective fantasy of there being nothing or a time where we could leave together that makes something like the desire for a final collective action understandable. For it would be something we did together, whether out of hope for a better world or a rejection of this one. Because we understand now that these are the same things, and this time is different. This time, the world is rejecting us. There's an and in this rejection, read the lines as they come, and in this rejection, there's an absence of the need of hope, as hope would acknowledge, even if unconsciously, that things should be otherwise. As if to say we wanted something other than what we have, but this is all there is. There was never anything other than this. We wanted something different, and we wanted it to go on forever, even if it didn't include us. Even if this forever didn't include us. It would finally become something like harmony or agreement. But it's just an end, a slow annihilation that already occurred in the distance, but is yet to arrive. Its movement towards us, a final promise. If there's any promise left, it's this. Or more accurately, more than a promise. It approaches with a slow certainty before which everything's been stripped away, save the habit of continuing, the bare minimum of the human, stumbling through its little rituals and consolations, advancing towards nothing, this beauty in the exhaustion of ourselves as a species, this feeling called heaven. Those who came before us told us that the world would end. They talked of redemption. But we've come to understand that what lies ahead of us isn't the redemption of the human, or the transformation of this vessel or vehicle into some greater good, or some refined articulation of what it means to be alive, but simply an end. If anything, the redemption of the human is found in the slow ooze of the body, as it expires, unburied, on the ground, lying down where it found itself, in that final moment, on its back, looking up at the sky one last time, as the clouds make their way slowly from east to west, towards a shore eaten away by waters that rise beyond the daily fluctuations of their tides. As if walking into a clearing instead of finding the remnants of this wretched thing we call our body, we discover that we never existed except as decor. A rundown building in need of repairs, beside a garden overgrown with weeds, the tools rusting in the ground, and the vegetables and fruit unpicked or fallen in the dirt and wet mud, as water pools around their roots from the humidity that hangs in the air. Anything but our bodies, rotting under the afternoon sun, finally liberated of the specificity of individuated death. All I wanted to show you all along was just this feeling called heaven, this pleasure in knowing that though we've poisoned the earth, it will continue without us, our violence lessening as it expresses itself, finally free of our guiding hand, the return to a balance or quietness we imagine existed before us. And as this violence is expressed in progressively more minor ways, as the center dissolves, I want you to imagine what we would have once called atmosphere. I want you to remember that this violence no longer has a subject, that the real utopia of our collective death offers the world is only found in our dissolution. And as our violence continues without us, as a fact, needing no witness, it asks nothing of us and yet we can't separate ourselves from it. So this violence and our part in it are expressed as waiting, or more accurately, a passivity that refuses participation beyond the minimum effort of remaining present, for our end approaching far in the distance, aware that what we're waiting for is simply us come again. There's nothing left but ruins yet to be made. We're simply that which is yet to fall apart. All that's necessary is to construct the altar for the altar to disappear. Thank you very much.
Keep it going for Joey. Most of you know, I have a 5-year-old at home, 5 and a 2-year-old, and my 5-year-old was beside himself the other night. 5 years old, started to get a little bit scared to death, and he was crying. He said, "I don't want to die. I'll never come alive again." And that's heavy. But I was thinking a lot about Joey's book. And I said, I know what we're going to read for bedtime tonight. So here's the yin to the yang. Act 2. I've written a lengthier version of this in diagram on Holly Melgard's work, and Holly's been extremely inspirational to me. And so you're in luck. This will be the shortest intro I'll probably ever do for Splice, because I feel just the need to keep it. Yeah, wow. Holly Melgard's work is a contradiction in the best sense of the word. Her poems under its covers are constantly on attack. One poem might slam the brakes on nuclear families on reproductive autopilot. Another might sully the media-sterilized miracle of childbirth. And yet another might act as soothsayer to the grotesque destiny of your precious little squirt, who will undoubtedly grow up to be a pervert just like the rest of us, no matter what kind of Ann Geddes act they might. Ann Geddes is like the baby butterfly. All right, good, thank you. Yeah, the cabbage baby, thank you. Act they might be trying to pull in their pink and wrinkly butterfly beginnings. Through gut-busting humor, post-conceptualist litany, and a wet and wild approach to subjects too often cut and dried, Melgard wrenches her satirical social commentary into a brand of paradox all too rare in the poetry world, laughing at the unlaughable. And I would like to end it with a Nicanor Parra quote from his poem, What the Deceased Had to Say About Himself. I want to laugh a little the way I did while living. Knowledge and laughter are one. Holly Melgard, everyone.
Thank you, Henry. That was so generous. I want to thank. This is. I want to thank you guys for coming, all of you, and I want to thank the curators for putting this together and congratulate you for the end of a beautiful series for the season.
Season 2's done.
Season 2's done.
Not yet.
Not quite. So don't leave yet. But anyways, it's really an honor to be here. I've never been this way before, and you guys have a really beautiful setting, and I'm just really stoked to get to be here to share this work with you. I'm going to start by reading from a trilogy I made, Poems for Baby. Originally it was like these little square books on Troll Thread, which is this press that we started back in the day. And now they're incorporated into this selected poems that just came out, Read Me, on Ugly Duckling Presse. So this is Poems for Baby, written and illustrated by me, Holly Melgard. It's visual and verbal. I'm going to start with the first in the trilogy, Colors for Baby. Colors for Baby. White, clear, cream, milk, glue, water, steam, fog, wind, sugar cube, salt, ash, rain, club soda, clean, tooth, smoke, screen, air, area, space, light, tissue, window, snow, sweat, mucus, moon, plaster, mayonnaise, plastic wrap, powder, paper, glass, cotton, ice cube. We just read a whole book. Settle in, there's more than that. Foods for baby. Orange, lime, tangerine, grapefruit, grape, hazelnut, coconut, breast, melon, melon ball, dinner roll, chickpea, pea, baby pea, couscous, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, paper, tapioca, cherry, tomato, cherry tomato, currant, blueberry, cranberry, peppercorn, poppy seed, cheese puff, cream puff, truffle, kibble, dumpling, donut hole, rum ball, gum ball, meatball. Thank you, very kind. Final book of the trilogy, Shapes for Baby. Shapes for Baby. Skip it. Line, slope, backslash, fold, wrinkle, divide, slide, slant, tilt, lean, tip, ebb, wane, slow, drop, fall, down, fail, shame, dive, needle, slash, slit, cut, crack, cleave, limb, penis, crevice, crevasse, recess, depress, descend, deplete, decrease, decline. That's 3 books. We did 3 books. I'm really overjoyed to get to read with Joey, also my partner. We made books on Troll Thread for many years. We write together, we do everything together, and then we tried to differentiate. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're always talking and writing together. And I missed reading with this guy, so I'm like stoked to read to him. I'm going to read to you from this other book I made, Fetal Position. I designed this cover. It's got an epigraph to the book. It's got a couple, but there's one that's kind of like pertinent tonight. It's from Audre Lorde's poetry, Is Not a Luxury. It is through poetry that we give name to those ideas which are, until the poem, nameless and formless, about to be birthed but already felt. That distillation of experience from which true poetry springs, births thought, as dream births concept, as feeling births idea, as knowledge births or precedes understanding. I'm going to read Reproductive Labor. It has its own epigraph to set the scene. It's from Antonio Gramsci's Prison Notebooks. It goes, "The crisis consists precisely in the fact that the old is dying and the new cannot be born." People keep asking me if I want kids, and I don't know how to answer that question. I suspect I might want kids, but I don't know if I want kids because I don't know what wanting kids is supposed to feel like. I'm pretty sure I want to have had kids, you know, in retrospect, only because I don't want to feel like I missed out on anything. But is that what wanting a child feels like? Does it feel similar to the desire to have paid off your bills or to have attended that event you feel obligated to go to but don't yet have the energy for? What does it feel like to know you want children? Is wanting kids a physical sensation? Like, when you look at other people's kids, do your loins start burning and dilating with want for something to come out of them? I can sort of imagine that. Does looking at a baby make your womb throb, your sperm squirm, your wallet pulse? I don't know, you tell me. I'm not asking to make fun because I think it's funny. I genuinely want to know, what does wanting kids feel like? When I'm hungry, the emptiness in my stomach makes it ache. Do you feel an emptiness in your torso when you want kids? At a certain point, will I get hangry for a child to fill up my midsection if I wait too long? The minute it occurs to me that I can have a cigarette, I immediately want one, and if too much time passes after that craving begins, eventually it becomes all I can think about. Is wanting a child like that? Is it a desire that forms out of the realization that you could have one? I mean, I could have had a child at any point. I could have had one when I was 13, but I don't necessarily know whether I want one just because I can have one with the same certainty I know I want a cigarette at every moment I can have one. Or is wanting kids less of an internal feeling or a lack of craving belonging to any one body part, more of a holistic, overall physical longing for another? You know, like when you've been single for so long that all you can think about is who among your friends you can convince to spoon you without it getting weird. Is it a body loneliness thing, or does wanting a child feel like it does when I see a baby animal and all I want to do is hold it? I mean, the last thing I want to do is chores for helpless animals. Those creatures just look like food to me. But I would hold the shit out of any baby animal that would let me. I don't know if that's a baby thing so much as a cuddling thing. Babies make great hot water bottles by and large. I would spoon most full-grown animals too, for that matter, provided they have fur and aren't too vicious or smelly. Well, actually, yeah, I would also spoon an elephant or a hippo, probably also an ostrich. So yeah, most, if not all animals, I would definitely spoon. But wanting to spoon that raccoon rummaging in the trash doesn't necessarily mean I'm prepared to care for it by, say, showing up for all its vaccination appointments. I mean, if I haven't managed to go to any dentist appointments in the last 5 years, how can I be trusted to follow through on vaccinations? I guess it's not totally my fault that I haven't been to the dentist. My insurance only pays for 1 cavity a year, but I have at least 5, which doesn't bode well for my all-or-nothing perfectionism. Is there a distinct feeling between wanting to have that raccoon in my arms and wanting to mother or parent the raccoon is what I'm asking. What does wanting a kid feel like physically? Does it hurt? Does it burn? Does it sting? Does it ache? Is it just a coldness or an emptiness you wish to lessen, or is it really a warmth and a fullness you wish to share? Does wanting children feel anything like preferring to work the 1 job instead of the 3 I have? Is it part of an urge to simplify your life and consolidate options? I bet if I had a kid, daily decision-making would become way easier. Do I want to stay out at this bar or go home? What city do I want to live in? Can I eat chips for dinner? I'll bet limiting my options would make these answers seem way more obvious. Would having kids liberate my time like a set of productive constraints? Sometimes it feels really good to cook a loved one a meal or do something nice for them, like knit them a scarf or draw them a card. Does wanting a kid feel like the desire to serve another? I don't mean that in a judgy way. I'm asking because it seems like there can be real pleasure in that. I would love for the act of cooking dinner to feel more like my pleasure than my burden. Chores in general, make them less painful, please, by all means. Living in the service of another sounds easier to me than living in the service of self. Is that how people come to want kids? The need for the object of their desire to be intelligibly, tangibly external from themselves? I can relate to that. I remember what wanting things strongly felt like when I was a child, but I don't think I'm very good at knowing how to want anything strongly as an adult. It's possible that's because most of the time, I don't feel like I'm much of an adult. I make negative income. Someone else owns my shelter. I'm scared and overstimulated most of the time. I have no assets, and I can't imagine myself in the future. Statements that are just as true today as they were when I was a child. Do you have to strongly not identify with children to want one of your own? Because I don't know how not to feel infantilized by the conditions of my life. In what ways is child wanting an extension of narcissism? I mean this in the healthiest sense of the word. Does it feel like the desire to look in the mirror and, fix your hair? Is that what it is? Or is the feeling of wanting children more like the feeling of wanting to create a world in which others admire you, fear and respect you, like a superiority thing? Is that what it feels like? Because I would be down for that. I never not want that, to be honest. Although that is what Victor Frankenstein also wanted, and look how that turned out. What do you picture when you feel your desire for wanting a child? All I can seem to picture is a split screen of two versions of me on my deathbed. On the left, I'm staring into the eyes of my grown child weeping over me as I lay dying. On the right, I'm just lying there dying, watching the wallpaper peel, with no one crying. I'm gonna be pissed if no one cries when I die. Is wanting children similar to wanting to make people cry? That sounds kind of awful. Should I be leaning into that desire or leaning away from it? Or does wanting a kid feel like the opposite of the social drive? Is it the desire for social withdrawal? Does the knowledge of wanting a kid only come to you after noticing what a disappointment people ultimately become? And you're just like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Is it like, you people all suck, I'm gonna go make my own people now? Like at a certain point, you just have to make your own people because all the ones you didn't make are just too obnoxiously not your own. I don't mean it this passive aggressively, I mean it honestly. My friends with kids go out less, but I can also see why. The human race is a real fucking disappointment, I mean, we made global warming. We are trash. No wonder my friends are all withdrawing into their DIY family worlds. I'd love to build any alternative to this world at this point, kids or no kids. Is wanting kids a world-building thing or a world-ending thing? Is it a want for more world or a want for less of this one? Does wanting a kid feel like it does when you realize nothing you manage to do will leave a substantial enough mark, and the only reliable way to leave one is to imprint it on a kid? Or is it a want for legacy or resignation? Or does wanting kids not come out of a lack of influence, but rather a surplus of means to support one? What if I don't feel strongly about wanting children because I don't have enough ducks in a row? Do I need to be able to afford a child to feel certain about wanting one? What if my owing a lifetime of student debt for a graduate degree but less job security than my working class parents had is obscuring my want for children? Is it because I lack the budget for one, or is having less than my parents did stifling my imagination for wanting kids? Do I need to be able to picture a way to reproduce the life my parents gave me in order to want kids of my own? Is there any way to avoid that with the way our economy and ecology are going? What are the chances of this world getting better and not worse? Less than 10%? More than 60%? It seems like predictions really matter when family planning. Do I need to be a sadist to want to assign another consciousness to partake in the end of the world with me? What is the difference between wanting a kid and wishing the end of the world on someone at this point? Surely there are plenty of distinctions that could be made here between the desire to reproduce and the drive to punish. Tell me more about those. I've noticed that my friends in less populated areas had kids in higher quantities than my friends in cities, and my friends in the most densely populated cities have the fewest kids of all. What if I don't feel so certain about wanting kids because when I look around, I see no room for them? When you want kids, do you chafe when you notice room for a kid that's not yet filled? I'll bet people in more rural areas look around at their open, underpopulated spaces and are like, we gotta put more people in here. Hardly anyone showed up to this party. We're never gonna eat all these chips before they go stale. When you want kids and you live in a city, do you stand on the crowded subway just like, there's an empty spot in the corner that could fit one, and then stress out about that empty spot going to waste? Is that what wanting a child feels like a wish to fill potholes in the road? I don't feel strongly like I do or don't want kids, but I will never turn down the chance to enjoy a good miniature. Kittens, dioramas, baby shoes, Brussels sprouts, enchanting, all of them. I visited the diorama of New York City at the top of Times Square McDonald's at least 24 times, by myself, never with people. They always want to leave far sooner than I'm ready. I love being there, but I can't stand any part of its constitution in isolation. Times Square, McDonald's, New York City, each are insufferable in themselves. But combine these into a diorama scenario, and I could spend all day there. Is that a sign I want children? I do love the idea of diorama person. but I don't know if I like the decor they come with. What if kid wanting is really a masked affection for childishly color-coded interior design? Is that how people know they want kids? They walk through the toy section of the store and are like, if I buy these toys, my house can finally have the color palette I've always wanted but never had the courage to own before I got these kids. Or is it the kids who want that stuff, not their parents? I really don't care for neon greens and pinks. If I like those colors, would I want kids more definitely? Does wanting kids feel like the want to surround yourself with certain colors? I know that feeling. Or does wanting children feel like the want for a toy? I know what wanting toys feels like, for sure. Are children just toy people? That could be fun.
Woo!
Thank you. Really very kind. Divisions of labor. It has an epigraph from Sylvia Federici's Precarious Labor and Reproductive Work. Once we say that reproductive work is a terrain of struggle, we have to first immediately confront the question of how we struggle on this terrain without destroying the people you care for. This is a problem mothers as well as teachers and nurses know very well. Anesthesia, asshole, bah, baby, baby boy, baby girl, baby is being born, baby is coming, baby is here, bah, bastard, you bastard, be a baby, birth, bitch, bah, boy, boyfriend, breastfeed, breath, I am breathing, break, it broke, it just broke, bah, cesarean, can you see it, I can't, careful, cervix, cocksucker, coming, it's coming, contracting, contractions, crap, C-section, damn it, daughter, dead, is it dead, die, do it, do you see a head, do you see it, do you see the head, doctor, don't, drugs, dying, epidural, farther, go any farther, father, for fuck's sakes, for the love of God, forcing, fuck me, fucker, fucking hell, further, a little further, much further, gah, get it out, get out of me, give me, girlfriend, give it to me, give me something, giving birth, go, God, going, gone, grrr, hear it, head, is there a head, help her, holy shit, hold it, can't hold it, who, how, husband, hurting, hurts, I am trying, I can't, I think it's almost, I'm trying, inside me, is it really happening, it can't, it isn't, it's really happening, it just won't, it's happening, it's time, Jesus Christ, keep it, kill me, oh God, kill me, kill the pain, kill you, labia, labor, law, leave me alone, little baby, little boy, little girl, little one, make it me, mom, mommy, motherfucker, my baby, my water broke, name, no, don't, no, I can't, no, just, oh, no, oh, baby, oh, God, oh, my God, oh, ouch, okay, ow, ouch, get it out of me, over yet, ow, paw, pain, papa, parent, partner, pig, placenta, please help me, pregnant, quit it, rah, relax, I'm trying to relaxed enough, relaxation, rest, save me, saw, see, sir, see, I can't see it. See it? You can see it. Can you see it? Shit, sleep, so, son of a bitch, sorry, stick it, stirrup, stomach, stuck, it's stuck, is it stuck? It's stuck, isn't it? Take it out, take me, tap water, time, it's time, to, trying, I am trying to, umbilical cord, uterus, vagina, very, very much, very, very, water, woo, what is it, when will it, where is he, where is it, will I, will it, will he, will she, will they, will you, who, whoa, who, why won't it, worst pain, wow, whoa, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-husband, ex-partner, ex-wife, yeah, yes it is, yes it's coming, yes it did, you bastard, you can't just, you cocksucker, you coward, you have no idea, you piece of shit, you pig, you motherfucker, you son of a bitch, you'll have to, you'll need to, you're dead to me, you're going to pay, you're not supposed to, and there's nothing for Z. Thank you, that's the rhythm. I'm going to read you Cat Call. This is for Henry. Henry did a really extremely cool rendition of this in the pandemic. And it was when in New York, we were still we were locked in our apartments, couldn't leave, It was people were dying really fast all around us. And Henry was here I am reading this poem in the supermarket. And I was amazing. And Henry had no mask. And I was is he going to die? Is he going to be okay? Oh my God. And it was terrifying, but also incredible to be able to reach out and actually connect at this distance in a time when we never felt we ripped apart. It meant a lot to me. The epigraph to this is from Sarah Schulman's Conflict is Not Abuse. Just as unresolved, formerly subordinated, or traumatized individuals can collude with or identify with bullies, so can unresolved, formerly subordinated, or traumatized groups of people identify with the supremacy of the state. In both cases, the lack of recognition that the past is not the present leads to the newly acquired power to punish, rather than the self-transformation necessary to resolve conflict and produce justice. Cat Call. Oh my God, check out that guy over there. Oh my God, look at him. Look at what a guy he is. Hey, cute guy. Hey, you. Hey, hi, cutie. How are you? He sure is cute. Oh my God, look at how cute he is. Holy shit, he's a cute one. Jesus Christ, look at him. Look at that guy being such a guy. Oh my God, what a guy. Talk about a guy. Hey, guy. Guy. Yeah, you guy. Hi, guy. Hey, you're a really cute guy. You sure are. Oh my God, he's a cute guy. Oh, he is a guy. He is, isn't he? Dude, just look. Look at what a fucking guy he's being. He's just being a really, really cute little guy right now. Hey, cute one, look at you. You're a cute little guy, aren't you? You are. Oh, you're a huge, cute little guy. Yes, you are. The hugest. It's okay, I like that. I like you. Look at what a guy is being. Look at him go. I'll bet he just needs to cuddle right now, and that's why he's being like that. He probably does. You know it's true. Hey, pretty big, cute little guy. Do you need to cuddle? Do you? Do you want to cuddle a little bit? Because I can cuddle. I can tell you're a cuddler. Oh, I can. You sure are. It's okay, I just like you is all. Yeah, I do. I like you. What a goddamn small little man he is, isn't he? Isn't he being a really big tiny guy for what a cute small man he is? I definitely think that's true. I think that because he is. Yeah, that's what he is. He is a teeny tiny guy, and that definitely makes him the biggest cute little huge tiny guy that there ever was ever. Or in the least, what he's doing right now is being a really huge cute guy. Oh, he is that cute. He really is. Hey, little buddy. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy. Hey, little Mr. Buddy. You can come home with me if you want to. Want to come be my bud? Want to come be my bud buddy? Come be my baby bud. Come home with me now. Come be my little baby bud. Look at this bud. Goddamn baby body. That's what he's got. Baby bud. What's up, small bud? What's up, small baby bud? What's up with your small butt? Let me get your butt. Jesus Christ, look at this guy. Yeah, look at him over there with his small butt. Look at that baby butt he's got going on. Look at him go. My God, look at you go. Hey, baby butt, can I please have your small butt now? Come on, I want it now. It's okay, we can do this. You're just gonna need to give me your small butt right now, that's all. He's gonna need to give me his butt. That's what he's gonna need to do, and I'm gonna need to have him. Come on, little guy, come be my butt, be my butt. I'll be your friend. Come on. I'll bet you're fun. I'll bet he is fun. Yeah, I'll bet you're fun. You look like it. You look like you probably got one of those fun butts, don't you? Do you want to know how I know his butt is that fun? Because he's clearly the littlest. Clearly. Oh, he clearly is. It's true. He is that. Anyone that small has got to be from Little Town. Oh, he has to be. He just has to. He must. Yeah, I'll bet he is. In fact, I know he is. He is definitely the littlest one from Little Town, and that's where he's from. It's true. It's true. He is the littlest one from Little Town. He can't help it because he's that small. No, he can't help it. No. Hey, you, little bud, let me get your littlest fun, cute guy bud. I want your bod, little one. Yeah, he's definitely the littlest one from Little Town with how small he's being right now. It's true. That's how small he is. He is being that small. He is. He's so small, he probably calls it Littleton like he's really from there. You know he does. Hey, bud, where are you going with your little bitty bod? Can I please have your bud bod? Come on. I want to have your bod now. Let me have it. Littleton. That's what the locals call it. All the locals in Littletown call it Littleton. It's true, they do. That's how you know when they're really little enough to be from Littletown. You know they're a real Littletonian when they call it Littleton. That's how they say it too, Littleton. They say it just like that. It's true, they do, Littleton. I mean, for fuck's sakes, look at him. He's definitely, without a doubt, the goddamn littlest Littletonian from Littletown. And that is what he is. I know it. Look at him calling it Littleton to himself in his head while he's walking there. Hey, Mr. Bitty Bud. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Hey, Mr. Boo. Come on. Come be my mister. For fuck's sakes, look at him. Look at his small body. Had it back to his small, tiny home in Littletown as we speak, calling it Littleton, just like that, like it were nothing, saying it that way, like everyone else called it Littleton too. Like everyone else in the world called it Littleton and not Littletown, which you know to any Littletonian doesn't mean a goddamn thing. What's up, baby sir? Want to come be my mister? Oh, come on, don't go. Take me with you. Maybe I can get him to take me back to Littletown with him. Hey, baby guy, take me back to Littleton with you. I'm going to meet your cute parents. There is just no way that anyone could be that small. It's just not possible. He's just being way too small to be this possible. I don't like it. I'm sorry, but he's just too small. Way too fucking small, and it's not okay. What the fuck? God damn him. Why does he have to be this small? I don't even know. No, I don't. No, I do not. This is too much. He's being way too much, and I can't stand it. Hey, bub. Hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba Bud. Hey, baby bub. Fuck you. Fuck you and your ridiculously small body. Your smallness needs to stop now. I said stop. No means no. Fuck this guy's body for being that small. Seriously. Fuck him. Hey, Bud Bub. I'm gonna stop your body. Yes, I am. Someone needs to put a stop to all this smallness. I'm sorry, but his body just really needs to be stopped right now because there's just no way that anyone can be this small. No way, sir. No, you cannot be like this. No, you cannot. Nope. No way. Nobody's like that. No body. You know what, fun butt? I'm gonna need to touch your body with my body now, and you're gonna need to let me, okay? So enough is enough. You need to come over here now and put your goddamn bod on top of my bod and quit screwing around. I mean it this time. Hey, Mr. Guy. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. You're gonna need to be in my arms now because it's where you belong. Don't you walk away from me. You need to stop being so far away from my body. Come on, bud. Give me your bod. There's no point in fighting it, because I'm gonna need to have you now, okay? Oh, come on. Don't give me that. Come on. God damn this selfish guy. God damn him. Excuse me, sir? Sir? Hey, mister. Hey, mister, sir. Over here. I'm right here. I need your butt. Give me your butt. Come over here. I need you now. Hey, it's okay. Unless it's one of your fun butts that's bothering you. I don't mind. I like your butt. I'd like to bother your butt. What the fuck? Why is he like that? I mean, look at that butt. I really want to cup his butt right now. That's what I want to do. Yeah, I want to do that to him now. What's up, baby butt? Let me cup your butt. Let me cup your butt. Let me cup your butt a little bit. I need to cup you right now. What do you think about that? Come on. Let's just cup butts for a minute. It'll only take a minute. Come on. Let me cup you. It's just butt cupping. Look at how smooth his butt looks. It's so smooth. You know the hairs on it are all soft and silky. He's probably got one of those rug butts that's too soft to give you rug burn, and that's how silky it is. Oh, come on, don't be like that. I just want to touch your soft butt. Hey, soft butt, it's okay if there's hair on it. I don't mind. I like a rug butt. I do. I really do. Oh, come on. Don't be that way. Why is he being like this? Don't be like this. Come on. Stop being that way. Don't be all cruddy. Don't you dare get all cruddy on me now. Don't do it. Stop being a cruddy buddy. Be my guy. Be my bud. It's okay. I'm not mad. Just don't be a crud bud. Man, he's not going to stop devastating me with his body, is he? Who even told him he could act like that? I don't even know. Hey, you, stop devastating me. Seriously. You stop now. He needs to stop ruining me right now with his body. He does. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ruin his life. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ruin him. I'm going to ruin his butt. I'm going to ruin his fucking rug butt. That's what I'm going to do. Hey, you. Yeah, you. You need to have your butt mugged. That's right. I'm going to mug your butt. I'm going to mug it. I'm going to mug you. I'm gonna rug mug your fucking rug butt, okay? Thank you, thanks for having me. And a round of applause to our curators for shooting all the time. Thank you.
Keep cupping those butts together for Holly Melgard and Joey Yearous-Algozin. Oh. Wow, that was intense for me. That was a lot. That was a brutal weather report. But now we know what to expect. I was reminded when I was prepping my notes here that, precipitate, it literally means to throw down, throwing down. The other definition is hurling, to throw up. You can just make it mean whatever you want it to mean. Partly cloudy, chance of participation. Excuse me, I gave away my joke. Partly cloudy, chance of precipitation. Partly sunny, chance of participation. Mostly cloudy, chance of elimination. And partly funny, a frog falling out of the sky. Hey, you've got nothing to do today but smile. Da-da-da-da-da. That's from the quote from Paul Simon at the beginning. It's bookending. It's called bookending. And this has been the Splice Poetry Series for the National Weather Channel. Thank you, and don't forget your umbrellas. We have books for sale from Joey and Holly. Give them all the love. Thank you both so much. Thank you for coming as always.